Hey there, football fans and soccer fans around the globe. Welcome back into the greatest show that talks about the greatest league in all the world, and that's the Premier League, of course. And I'm Jason Mattis with Between the Posts, and I'm joined each and every single week by Matthew. How's it going, man?
It's going well. Another week. We had some fun League Cup action this week. We hit it out of the park, I think. So you were on fire with some of those. So it was good to be able to contribute a little bit with like a Minamino. Should have probably sent something out. There was some collab plays in there, but it was all good. I think we cashed a lot this with midweek.
Yeah, we certainly did. Tuesday was certainly better than me than Wednesday, but by all means, both days were good days. So yeah, we both cleaned up. That was very good work. And yeah, another good week here on the Premier League show. Let's go ahead and remind everybody we're powered by BetUS. Great sports books out there. If you're still looking to add other sports books to your plethora of books that you may have, go ahead and check them out. Great sign-on bonus. You can go ahead and use that cryptocurrency, and also they just got great lines and great odds throughout each and every single matchup. So go ahead and check them out. And in this video description, you'll go ahead and find a sign-up link. If you'll be grateful and use that, we'll appreciate it. Let's go ahead and recap match week number 5. We'll let Matt go first. 90 seconds. What happened in match week 5 for you?
You want to go first here? Let me. Give me
Okay,
a
I'll
second.
go first.
I always forget about the recap.
No worries. Yep. So I'll go ahead and recap first. So match week number 5, it's another profitable week for me. So that's now 5 weeks in, and I've been profitable each and every single week. Last week went 4-4 though, so I had an even record. It was the first time I didn't have a winning record, but still pulled in some profit. One of the big reasons I pulled in profit, and the profit was 0.51 units. I gave you guys Wofford most corners, and that was at plus 195, and they doubled up. Norwich on corners 8-4, so at plus 195, that really saved us right there, and that was a great find. Also hit under 2.5 in another Burnley match. Shouldn't be a big shocker to anybody, as Arsenal got the win, like both of us here said, but under 2.5 came in nice and easily. Brighton, Leicester, both teams to score. That was another winner for me. And then my last one, and obviously I'm a Man United fan, was the just absolute. I'm surprised I got a noise violation here in the apartment because I went crazy when Manchester United won that game. Obviously, Lingard with the screamer within the box that was just unstoppable. Then West Ham gets a penalty awarded, but David De Gea went up and made a nice save on Mark Noble right there. So yeah, I was screaming right there. Cashed the bet, put some money in our pocket. What a great match week for me. So yeah, 5 weeks in, profit in each and every single week. That's what I'm talking about.
So now I'm remembering correctly. I was very close to the anytime goal scorer parlay. Still went 2 of 3, obviously on the singles there, and then the sprinkle didn't work out. But yeah, Mane, Ronaldo, those were no doubters. And then Lukaku let us down. Another one that we were spot on with, we got it both right, and somehow I did not cash, was Leeds and Newcastle over. I mean, that one, there should have been like 7 goals in the first half. It was back and forth. It was some of the best football that you really can watch from a neutral perspective. And it just slows down in the second half, just not as many clear-cut opportunities. They should have been a first half cash, no doubter. And so, yeah, I mean, that one stunk. But, yeah, I think I ended up just like kind of going like 3-3, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I'm glad you actually brought up that Newcastle Leeds game there on Friday because that was pain for me. Absolutely painful for me. I meant to bring it up and obviously forgot. Glad you did. That was painful, right? That should have been a first half cash. We should have just been sitting back, easing on into our Friday night with our cocktail with money in our pocket. Unreal. I still don't know. It's Thursday at noon. I still don't know how that bet didn't cash. I'm still trying to wrap my head around how there wasn't at least 3 goals in that game. Don't
I
understand
totally
it.
agree.
So
Totally
yeah,
agree.
you were on fire. There was anytime goal scorers, and you said it. You got all 3 at plus money. You only needed 2 to
Yep.
hit. So kudos to you. I mean, that went about exactly how you said. Obviously, Lukaku was just the would have completed your sprinkle, but no, that was a great work by you there. Finding 3 guys and all of them at plus money. Fantastic work for you right there.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, they were easy ones.
All right, let's go ahead now and jump on into Premier League number 6. Before we do that, remind everybody we got that comment section open. We were reading your comments last week. We were engaging with you guys and really enjoyed that. So if you want to fire off your leans and bets as we go through these games, please do that. And go ahead and hit that like button as well as we sit here and run through these games. Let's kick it off. It's the best game of the week. It's Saturday morning early. Get up early, folks. Set that alarm clock because the best one is early. It's Chelsea and Manchester City. How's this one going to go down, Matt?
Wow, just ever since Thomas Tuchel's taken over, I mean, he's completely revitalized Chelsea, and they pull off the upset in the Champions League final in this one. So City's going to be out for revenge. he's gotten the better of Guardiola in all of the head-to-heads, really, at least either picking up a point or winning all of them. So yeah, he's got this one figured out. Chelsea, they look a little bit stronger to me right now, which is just crazy. I would have never said that a few months ago. But City with a couple backline issues. Laporte won't be there. It sounds like he's going to miss for a few weeks. And yeah, I mean, they have a couple little issues. Like when you look at John Stones as well. John Stones is going to miss for a little bit. So it's going to be the Nathan Ake show paired with Diaz. So I mean, 4 consecutive clean sheets in the league for Manchester City. As we know, Chelsea under 2.5s. They just know how to control matches. And I just don't see either of these teams really wanting to lose this one. Maybe picking up a point. I could see the draw. It's the biggest price here. I could definitely see the draw being a big-time, player in this one. And for me here, it's all about the unders. It just has to be. I mean, these two teams, just whoever does go 1-0 up, if there even is a goal, they'll do a good job of trying to keep the other team out. I remember in the Champions League final in this match, I had both teams to score no bet that cashed. I would be looking there again. Both teams to score no at a plus price or under 2.5 at the minus 125 range covers all those different outcomes. Those are where I would go. I really struggle to split the two, but if I had to lean, it would be with Chelsea.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think Chelsea should be the favorite here. The sports books have them marginally, I think, at plus 165, where City's at plus 175. I still think the public is still all on City. I don't understand why. Their performances have been really bad. I mean, against Southampton, you get one shot on target. That's it. You're at home at the Etihad, and you get one shot on target. They're not a big shot on target team. I remember last season I was playing their unders a lot because the books were giving it to us at 5.5, and they sit around about 4 or 5 per game. But just to get one against Southampton was a really disappointing performance right there last week. You mentioned it last week with obviously their center back issues. They've got big time center back issues without Stones and Laporte. You've got Conte back on the side. He played midweek there in the EFL Cup, and they took him off at halftime, so he'll be certainly ready to go and start and should give them the full 90 minutes in this one. So look forward to that right there. I think Chelsea should be more of the favorite team. They are the better team. You've mentioned some of the recent head-to-head performances. This game is at Stamford Bridge. I like Chelsea in this matchup. Not confident like in you to put any money behind like a Chelsea money line, but you're right. It's going to be a unders game. It's going to be an unders game. I actually didn't think about the both teams to score no option until you said that. And I think that's a really good angle that you bring up because, yeah, if somebody gets up 1-0, and then it's just going to make it really difficult for their opponent. You mentioned the under 2.5. That's the way I went in this game. Under 2.5 minus 125. You can find that right now on several sportsbooks. So to me, that's an easy angle. And I think you'll get a relatively easy cash just the way these two teams have gone out at it, up under Thomas Tuchel.
Totally agree. I would say, if you are looking at it from a side perspective, I definitely wouldn't be on money lines here. But yeah, like the Chelsea draw no bet angle at, it's kind of flip flop, and I'm seeing them at 175 and City at 170 in some places. So it's kind of all over the place. You could get like a draw no bet at like a plus 100, plus 105 on Chelsea. I'd be shocked if they get beat, but it's just not for me.
I had this as my lean in this game. That I saw the best price for the draw no bet at minus 115 for Chelsea. If you want to take a stab at that, can't be mad at you right there because I'm with you. They're not going to lose this game more than likely at home at the Bridge. So a draw no bet at minus 115, I like that. But I want to put money in my pocket. I don't want to not if there's a draw 0-0-1-1. So give me that under. That's the more likely scenario in this fixture. Next one is also a nice early kickoff here at 6:30 a.m. here, at least in the Midwest where I live. You got Manchester United versus Aston Villa going on here. Don't worry about the EFL Cup result, folks. I mean, just don't worry about it. Look at that Man United lineup. Guys that will not see this pitch come Saturday morning were involved in midweek, so don't let that put you down. Villa had a good performance. They're actually coming off 2 good performances. They were good against Everton and securing a nice 3-0 win. But then even if you date it back to that Chelsea performance, obviously they lost 3-0. second half got away from them. I mean, once Conte came on, they changed the formation of the team and they dominated the second half. But from a first half perspective, I thought Villa was in that game. I thought they were competing pretty well. So I thought they showed themselves really well. And then United, at least from a league perspective, is coming off that dramatic win there against West Ham. And it just feels like, at least from a league perspective, if he's on the pitch, they have this nice, good, feel-good story. I just don't know when that's going to quite run out. They had that dramatic win against West Ham. So my lean in this game is one that you've kind of picked on, Ronaldo to score and United to get the win at plus 110. That's my lean in this fixture.
That's a good one. Yeah, I'm probably not going to go away from the Manchester United and Ronaldo scoring here. I mean, he's cashed for me every single week, and I don't see any reason really to fall off on that one. So I'd be looking at like a both teams to score and Manchester United to win here. I think that you touch on a lot of good things, Jason. The feel-good factor right now with Ronaldo, their best 11 is top four. It's extremely quality, and maybe their B team isn't so much, and we'll see if that depth kind of comes into play later on in the season. But yeah, I could see Villa getting on the score sheet here as well, and Manchester United just are involved in a lot of overs games.
Yeah, all right. I think that's a great lean in that one. Next one up, we got is Everton versus Norwich right here. This one is a little bit interesting to me because if you look at Flash Score, no Calvert-Lewin still, but they also say no Richarlison. And obviously we know we're not waiting on James to come walking back into the squad now that he's been sent off to Qatar. So I'm not sure where they're going to score. If they don't have Richarlison, and obviously, like I said, no Calvert-Lewin, that to me just has me really worried. It kind of put me off on this match. We know Norwich's struggles. They continue to struggle. Got nothing so far in this campaign. I liked kind of Norwich plus a half at plus 145 because I think this game could be a draw. I think this is maybe one where because Everton is lacking some of their frontline firepower, that maybe you can go ahead and get something out of this. If you're Norwich, fight and claw and get a draw, fight for every second ball, be scrappy, and maybe you get something and if you add plus a half and you get that at plus money at plus 145, I kind of like that bet right there. So that would be my lean. But boy, just with the injury crisis kind of going on there at Everton with mainly their striker options, I don't feel too awfully confident in this matchup really at all. All right, well, looks like Matt's got some technical difficulties problem there, so we'll just keep on rolling here. I'll jump into the next match and then we'll circle back once he comes. Oh, here he is right here. Cool. And he hung up again. All right, we'll come back to him right there. The next one we got here, it is Leeds versus West Ham. Matt's dialing back in again. Let's get him, folks. We can't do this show without Matt. We need our guy. We need our partner in crime. Can't do this show without Matt. Bam! There he is. What's going on with Everton and Norwich?
There we go. Everton and Norwich is a interesting fixture. Not something I really want to get involved with right now. I think that Everton aren't really deserved to be this kind of price, I guess, but Norwich have been extremely poor. It's a complete pass for me. I really don't have a feel for it with Everton. Some of their stars being out, they might scrape it here, but yeah, it's not something I want to get involved with at all.
Yep, I agree right there. There's plenty of other good opportunities on this slate. Don't need to force any action with betting that game. I agree completely. The next one I think we can find some value in. I think we can get some profit in. It's Leeds versus West Ham. What's going to happen here, Matt?
Well, I would say this would be going back to it. Both teams to score an over 2.5. I know that it didn't work out against Newcastle, but here with West Ham, the little bit tougher side, a little bit more clinical. I would side with West Ham, but yeah, I think the best way to look at this one is to not really pick a winner. Both teams find the back of the net, and this game does push over the 2.5.
I'm starting to, and it's not because I got burned on Friday, and I certainly agree with your analysis. I've made that bet in Leeds fixtures. I'm starting to wonder, though, if the narrative on Leeds could be changing because they're winless so far this season, and they're not scoring. They've only got 5 goals in 5 fixtures. So I don't disagree with your saying, but I need to see something from this team before I maybe start continuing with that bet. We're in. They've had opponents. They've gone up against sides that they should be able to find the back of the net at on a regular basis, if we're remembering what they were able to do last season. So I'm a little hesitant on making that bet personally. West Ham's getting Antonio back, so they're getting their star number 9 back. I think that'll only boost them up, obviously. West Ham won both of these fixtures last campaign. They even kept a clean sheet at home West Ham was really dominant at home, though, and on defensive end. But I can't get there with your bet in this one. I think the best bet in this one is West Ham on a draw, no bet at minus 125. That's where I'm going to go in this one. And if Leeds does get back on, maybe showing some prowess, okay, fine. But they got to show me something before I can continue making that bet. All right, let's go ahead and jump on now between Leicester and Burnley. What's going to happen between this one here, between the Foxes and the Clarets?
Tough one. Extremely tough one for me, Jason. I'd be looking towards Burnley here, getting a goal start. I don't even mind like a little bit of sprinkle on Burnley on the money line here. I think that things just aren't looking that great for Leicester. Catching Burnley at like 5.5 to 1 is it's a little bit too big. Burnley's results haven't been kind, but their play is better. They've been competitive all around. They barely really got beat last week to an A-plus Arsenal lineup. That lineup was perfect. Now they're going up against a slightly lesser opponent, I think, in Leicester when you're looking at a lineup perspective, the way that Arsenal set up last week. I could see Burnley hanging around here and really breaking open some parlay coupons. I think they bust those open, and I think that Burnley +1 makes the most logical sense. I don't think they get beat by a margin here.
Yep, I think you're right there. I sound almost like a broken record with Burnley. I feel like I could just pull up last week's episode and just find it and hit play because to me it's the same old song and dance with them. They're not scoring 5 games in. They've only found the back of the net 3 times. They've got 1 point so far in those 5 games. They just absolutely are struggling right here. They've struggled in this head-to-head. The Foxes versus the Clarets in head-to-head since 2007. Foxes have won every single one at home. At home. Oh, sorry, I meant to say at home. So at home, between this head-to-head, they've won every single one. Leicester is off to a rough start. 2 wins and 3 losses. They've conceded 8 goals while only scoring 5 and coming in with 2 straight. So they are definitely limping. I like your angle that maybe Burnley can go ahead and take advantage. To me, it comes down to will Burnley score and are we getting under 2.5? But I'm going to lean on that head-to-head narrative. To me, that's really strong. Since 2007, Leicester's really been able to hand them. And Brendan Rodgers has gone up against Burnley with 4 different teams, and he's won all 4. I like that. I'm going to go ahead and take a stab here that Leicester can get it done. They'll scrape it. It'll be low scoring, so I've added under 4.5 to it, and I got that at minus 123. But I think at home, I think they can go ahead and scrape a nice low scoring KG match. So Leicester and under 4.5, you can get that at minus 123. All right, let's get your thoughts on Wofford versus Newcastle. How's this one going down?
Another one that I kind of just quickly glanced over. I'd be looking though with Newcastle. I'd be looking at both teams to score. I'd be looking at both teams score over 2.5 goals. I think that Newcastle, as a road dog, will be a somewhat active underdog. I think they will find the back of the net, apply pressure on Watford at Vicarage, and they've been pretty good at home recently. They've been picking up the points that they need to, at least at home. I don't know who wins this match, but I do think there's goals.
I would agree with you right there. I've got to throw out an interesting stat right here because I came up, I think, with a gem last week in Wofford to have the most corners. And again, at plus 95, we banged that one. Here's one right here. The referee, the man in the middle, is going to be Jarrett Gillett. He's making his Premier League debut. If you go back to his last 5 games that he's been the referee at, all 5 have had a penalty kick. You can find a PK to be awarded at plus 240. So maybe you go ahead and like that angle. It's not one that I'm personally betting. But hey, my man is apparently calling out PKs on a regular basis. He's 5 for 5 in his last matches. Maybe he'll go and get that one. I kind of lean with you. Stay away from this match overall. If I had to bet something, I would just do over 2.5 at plus 106. Certainly both teams will score. If you wanted to go ahead and throw that in there to get some extra value, wouldn't be mad at you right there. But I just think because you can get over 2.5 at plus 106 alone at plus money, it's basically what you're talking about. But it's another fixture like that Everton Norwich one where I just don't want any part of it. None of these clubs are doing anything right now to excite me with their football. So it's a stay away from me. But over 2.5 is my lean in that one. All right, it's your boys are up next. I believe this is the Saturday noon kickoff here in America, at least, the 12:30 slot. It's Brentford versus Liverpool. What's going to happen between this one?
So I think that Liverpool right now are just they're really clicking. They're in really good form. But then when you look on the flip side, Brentford are clicking as well. I think that this is going to be a really interesting, high-octane match. I think that they are going to be extremely competitive with Liverpool. I do. I think that Brentford are going to make this tough. We saw what they did with Arsenal on match day one, and shocking them a bit. It's the crowd's going to be, crazy. But I do think that Liverpool right now are hitting their top gear. And when they're hitting their top gear in this league, they shouldn't be beat by just about anyone. So, thus, that makes me lead to believe that this will be an unders match. I think that I think it's decided by one goal, though. I really do. I think that the books have this priced out perfectly, where I think that Brentford +1 probably ends up in a push. I would not be interested on Liverpool on the Asian handicap at -1, but I am interested in a low-scoring game that Liverpool just has enough, and maybe it's from a set piece because now they are extremely dangerous on set pieces with Virgil van Dijk back in the lineup. We saw that last week against Crystal Palace. 3 set piece goals, and that was the difference. They win 3-0. That could be the difference here. I just don't see Brentford having this type of class. They are very good, and they are going to shock a lot of good teams in this league, but this is a different one for me, so I would be on Liverpool.
You'd be on Liverpool. Okay, cool. I was obviously extremely interested here in getting your thoughts on that one right there. Both these teams are going to come in with a lot of confidence. Brentford's got the nice 2-0 win over the Wolves recently. Liverpool themselves, they come in with the nice 3-0 win up over Palace. Matt kind of touched on it right there. I'm wondering if Ivan Toney can punish Liverpool. I mean, he's obviously their leader. He's their number 9. He's at home where they're going to play better, like Matt mentioned, up against Arsenal recently. But when I mean can he punish Liverpool, the reason I ask that question is can he punish Liverpool? Is Liverpool has 4 clean sheets in 5 games this season. And I know Matt has touched on it a lot about the Virgil van Dijk presence and how he's probably the best center back in the world, and I don't really disagree with that. 4 clean sheets in 5 games. That worries me. I think Liverpool is going to be too much for this. I had several different leans, and I'm going to get Matt's pick on this. I already know one of them he's going to go ahead and throw out immediately. I think actually another one is going to – I think of these ones – you got a tough between 2 pick. These are my 4 before I got here. Liverpool team total over 2.5 was at +190. The fact that it was at 2-1 was the thing that excited me. I assume now you're not high on them scoring 3 goals. Liverpool win by 2 was at +130. We already know you're not high on that one based on what you said. What about Liverpool to score in both halves at +130? And what about Liverpool win to nil at +145? If I had to pick between one of those two, although give you respect, I actually do like yours better. Well, which of those two do you kind of like better?
It would be so. I don't know when I cut out, and I'm sorry for some of these delays. My phone normally is 10 out of 10 in connection, and today it is terrible. So I'm going back to the laptop. This seems like it's a little bit better, but yeah, I think that the best one out of those would be win to nil for sure. I don't like really any of the other angles. I think that they're underdog prices for a reason,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I think that Liverpool and under 4.5, Liverpool and under 3.5, Liverpool and under 2.5, or Liverpool win to nil. That is where I would be looking, depending on what you want in a price. Do you want a big plus price, or do you want to still hang back and be a little bit more cautious, just in case this one does get out of control? That's why I've gone with the safe route with under 4.5. But yeah, I think that they win to nil. I think it probably goes Liverpool and under 2.5, really. I think this is going to be a tight, cagey match, and I think that when you look at how well Brentford's defense has done in the early weeks, I think they're going to make it. I think they'll make life completely difficult on Liverpool. No Thiago in the lineup, so it's probably going to be Henderson. I'm not sure who he's going to pair with there, but yeah, they're going to say Liverpool come and try and break us down and see if maybe we can catch them on the break once or twice, but. Yeah, Liverpool generally struggle in those kind of matches.
Okay, cool. All right, yeah, throw all my leans out the window, folks. He's got me convinced. I'm on that Liverpool under 4.5. I'll probably go ahead and make that an official bet a little bit later on. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. We get into Sunday's fixtures. The first one here is Southampton versus Wolves. I don't like really much about either one of these clubs right now, even though Southampton did have a good performance against City. I said they only held them to 1 shot on target. City still took 16 overall shots and still had a majority of the lion's share of possession and dominated much of that play. So I don't really know how much of Southampton I like. Wolves, I don't really like anything about Wolves right now. Nothing excites me with that Wolves team right now. Southampton is winless so far with 4 points, so that lets me know that they're at least in games. Obviously, they're collecting a lot of draws. They're fighting. They're scrapping. Wolves has 1 win and 4 losses. They've only scored 2 goals, and remind you that both of those goals came in the one game against Wofford right there. So I like that. But Southampton, to go along with City, they also had a really good performance up against Manchester United, holding them to a draw. So I like that right there. Wolves, yeah, they just looked absolutely bad. The one thing we can count on the Wolves game, we mentioned here last week, it cashed again, so we can now update the total. It's now been 5 games. All 5 games for Wolves has cashed under 2.5. That'd be my lean right here. Under 2.5 at minus 134 in this one. I think it's going to be nice and low scoring. Neither team has offensive firepower. Yeah, under 2.5 for me all day long in that one.
I couldn't agree more with you, Jason. To be fair, I think that both of these teams are just struggling to find the back of the net. I really have a tough time picking a winner in this one. I think that Wolves, let's say both of these teams line up with their best 11s. I would rather be on Wolves here. But it's really hard to gauge if that's going to be the case. And yeah, it's a game that I really want nothing to do with. I do think that both of these teams are struggling to find the back of the net, and I would be looking at an unders game.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're right. If they roll out their starting 11, it's better. But under what's this guy's name? Is it Lodge? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes, something like that.
They're just struggling. I mean, yeah, they may have the best 11 players on the pitch, but I'm not trusting those 11 right now. To your point.
Yeah, it's marginal. It's marginally better at best, and then that cancels it out really with Southampton being here at St. Mary's. So yeah, it's a complete pass.
Yep. All right. What about the last Sunday game? It's the North London Derby between Arsenal and Tottenham. I've got this one. Let's see. I'll go ahead and go first right here. So Arsenal, they've obviously rebounded. They struggled to their campaign, have come back nicely. Albeit it was against Norwich and Burnley, but you can only play who's on your fixture list, and they've gotten those 2 wins, so that's nice right there. Tottenham is struggling bad against Crystal Palace. We talked about how it's not just what happened after the red card. It was everything up before that. Bad against Chelsea. I mean, we're in it in the first half. Chelsea makes one change with Conte in a formation, and then boom, it was all Chelsea. So yeah, Tottenham just couldn't handle that. Remind you guys that Nuno Santos was at Wolves. You guys know that. You guys are educated viewers right here. They didn't score a whole lot last season. You're seeing that so far with Tottenham. They are not scoring. They have not scored in 2 straight games. They're also struggling up under Nuno Santos. You touched on it last week, how he prioritizes the defensive shape and the structure. Well, I think you're seeing that because their lack of scoring. Given the current form, I just don't know what separates them. If somebody wanted to tell me that Arsenal was the better team right now, given the current form, okay, but I take into account the competition of Norwich and Burnley, so I just don't know what really separates them. Last season's head-to-head was split. They each got a win, but I think this one's going to be a stalemate. If I had to bet this one, I would go draw 245, or I would take the under 2.5 at minus 125. Those were my 2 leans for this one. What about for you?
I like the unders. I think that just any time really you're looking at Tottenham, unders need to be on the cards. Nuno Santos has been an unders type of manager for many years now, and so has Arteta. Both of these managers extremely cautious in the way that they approach matches. I would like to think that Arsenal, and being at the Emirates here, will be able to push them over the line as long as they play the same lineup that they did last week against Burnley. That was their best lineup under Arteta thus far, and that is a lineup that if they were to play with it for a full season, and obviously no one gets injured, that doesn't happen. But let's say it was like that, I would think that they would actually be able to compete with the top 4. And I would say that they would be the 5th best team in this league, undoubtedly. This lineup is extremely strong. It's got technical players in the middle of the park, and Odegaard, Smith Rowe, and finally Thomas Partey kind of holding up that back line with Gabriel and now Ben White. It's strong. It's really strong. And I just don't like what I've seen from Spurs recently whatsoever. I think that the Emirates is going to push them over the line. Do I feel great about it? This line is moving fast. I had to grab it, before it really got away here, because I'm seeing some shops now have like minus 175 in the draw no bet market for Arsenal. I would not recommend going that high at all here. I would be maybe then trying to push it more towards like a minus a quarter bet, minus that 0.25. So if it were to draw, then But yeah, so I think that I think that Arsenal scraped this one. I think it is unders, has unders written all over it, and that's where I'd be going here.
Unders. Yeah, you're right. Unders, unders, unders. Besides that Chelsea game, Tottenham's been cashing under 2.5, and it took Chelsea doing it right. So yeah, I mean to your point, that under Nuno Santos under 2.5. All right, let's go to the only match that's on Monday. It's Crystal Palace versus Brighton. Listen to this, folks. Listen to this. Fourth place Brighton. How's that sound? Fourth place Brighton. Yeah, that's where they sit in the table right now. Coming off a big win there up against Leicester. Brighton's just playing really good defensively. They're creating enough offensively through Welbeck and Maupay. They're doing enough. Look again, fourth place Palace lost to Liverpool. I'm not going to hold them against a loss to Liverpool. Matt's touched on it. I've kind of touched on them as well. So I lean back to the fixture before that and what they did up against Tottenham and how good they looked up against Tottenham. They didn't do much against Liverpool. Okay, fine, but Tottenham didn't do anything up against Crystal Palace. Palace is playing better at home. One draw, one win at home, and they haven't conceded a goal yet at home. That scares me if I'm Brighton coming to this one, if I'm a Brighton backer. The last 2 seasons, we've seen 2 draws and 2 Palace wins. One of those, I understand Palace only had 2 shots on target, got 2 goals. One of them came in injury time, but fact is, Palace has had the upper hand in this fixture. I would lean Palace draw no bet because you can get that at plus 105. So that's my lean in this game. I'm not betting that, but that's my lean. Oh, unless I rake in all the profit over the weekend and this is a Monday, maybe I will do Palace draw no bet. What about for you, man?
Yeah, so in this one, I just think that Brighton are top to bottom. They're stronger here. I know that this is going to be a tough match on the road. Brighton comes in feeling good about themselves, though. Neil Maupay in fine form. I think that when you look at the Tottenham match for Crystal Palace, I kind of throw that one out the window coming off the international break. I don't really buy into it. There was a red card injury, kind of a fluky 3-0 for me there. And Brighton, just like I said, top to bottom better. They have, more experience under Graham Potter. They know what they want to do. They know how they want to play. And then when you're looking at Palace, there's still that uncertainty right now with them. So I would rather go with a little bit more cohesion on the road with a team that is feeling good about themselves. I just don't think that they get beat here. So yes, I'm on Brighton, draw no bet. I don't feel great about it. I think that this is probably my least strong, in terms of strength this week and on plays. And I would be the most cautious on this one, but yeah, we'll see how the weekend turns out. But yeah, checking lineups here will be important. But yeah, I think that in terms of like what team is going to go out and try and really win this match, I think it's Brighton. I think that they play more free flowing style. Their style is better, and yeah, it's going to be a scrappy one. It's a Darby in some for some people, but yeah, it's Brighton here for me.
No, this is a Derby. I think you're right. Spot on analysis. Maybe I'm getting sucked in on Palace's current home form and the current recent head to head. So we've gone.
Palace have been coupon busters for me though over the years. Like they're the one team I don't get right, so I could see them stabbing me in the back here again too. So.
All right, cool. Well, hopefully they don't do that to you. Hopefully it just ends in a draw and we both just get our money back. So, we're head-to-head in that fixture. Let's go ahead and take down our names. Everybody knows who we are, and let's go ahead and throw up our official bets. The ones we've got our money behind. I'll go ahead and go first. I'm going to go ahead and take that under 2.5 in Chelsea versus City. To me, it's just a really, really strong play. I feel that confident about it. So I like that under 2.5. I've also gone ahead and grabbed that Leicester money line, parlayed that with under 4.5 and gotten that at minus 123. And then I like West Ham beating Leeds, or at least not losing the Leeds and maybe just getting my wager back and get that West Ham draw no bet at minus 125.
Yep, I'm on Arsenal, draw no bet. Hopefully they play their best 11 like they did last week, and I think that they'll scrape it in a close unders match there at the Emirates. Brighton draw no bet, just explained that one at minus 120. And then I think that Liverpool right now are just in, I think they're in their top gear right now. And I know that Brentford's really strong. I expect it to be an extremely competitive match on the road. But I do think that that Liverpool right now are feeling good about themselves, and I think that they'll come away in a scrappy 1-0 kind of match, maybe 2-1. I think they win by 1 goal, though.
Yeah, I think if I can still get that at -125, I'm going to go ahead and get that right after the show. Hey, guys, thanks for joining us. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks for all the likes. Don't forget to go ahead and check out BetUS and other great sports books. We always wish you good luck with your bets. Unless you're fading us, then the hell with your bets. Come back next week, see how we did, and we'll preview match week number 7. Enjoy the games. Enjoy it, Matt. Have a good one.
You too, Jason. Thanks.